Alright, boys and girls, let's go ahead and take apart the Colt 1907 clone made by Husqvarna. Pretty awesome shooting gun. I just need to get some hotter 380. My hand loads were just not going fast enough to cycle this thing. I actually had my buddy, he ran some defensive 380 through it today, very hot loaded stuff, and it ran flawlessly. So if you haven't checked the other video out, check it out. Put maybe 100 rounds through this thing. Runs hollow points. Extra cool, gun nerd, pocket carry. The other thing was the magazines were filled with grime and I didn't bother taking them apart. But they're actually very easy to take apart. You just need something to compress the spring away from the follower. And the follower, you have to do a weird rotatey dance with this. Gotta pull the spring down a little bit more. Yeah. So this kind of rocks forward, and then you can rotate it out just like that. And you could probably cut that much off the spring and get another round in this thing. I was trying to 3D print a magazine. I already threw it away because it's impossible to print something as thin as this steel and fit in this gun because this already rubs. That's minus the magazine release. So if I hold the mag release back, like it rubs pretty hard. So there's no extra room to make the magazine work. So you gotta deal with this. I mean, if you wanted to, you could cut this floor plate off and weld two of them together. But I just wanted to shoot in USPSA for fun. But there's really no capacity to do that. And of course, if you want to clean your mags, you just get a bore mop. And I dug out my Radco from my gunsmithing stuff. I've had this probably 5 years, but I used it for 2 years when I was a gunsmith with basically everyone's gun that came through my shop, and it's still not empty. They've pretty much sponsored every single 3-gun major match since 3-gun was a thing, at least since I've been doing 3-gun in 2020, and they make a good product. I like them and Rem oil pretty much the best because it's very thin. It's not like grease. Greasing your gun's stupid. Just gets everywhere and retains dirt. There you go. Still got a little bit of shmoo in there. But that's how you clean the magazine. And then when you put it back together, shove that spring in there. And like I said, it's obnoxious. All single stack mags from back in the day were way oversprung. Sneak this in here. Try and get this compressed without kinking it. And then just kind of slide the follower in there. This follower's already been cleaned, but you definitely need to clean your follower too. Could you please cooperate? Oh, what the hell? There we go. Ta-da. It's just that easy. Ta-da. Alright, hard part's over. How do I take this part? Pretty sure this is one of those ones that has the interrupted threads. Yeah. So yeah, this has got to depress somehow to get this to rotate out of the way. Oh, wow, that's stupid tight. There we go. Okay, yep. There we go. So there's the interrupted threads I was telling you about. As you saw, all I had to do was rotate that out of the way. And there's your barrel. So it's a fixed barrel. It's just not permanently fixed. You got some rubbage on the top there. Ooh, grimy. Let's use this. Mop that out. How's that? Sweet. And of course your feed ramp, make sure it's got no carbon on it. It pretty much just wiped off. Use a Q-tip if you have to. There you go, that's all polished now. See a little cutout for the extractor. Clean off our bore mop and do a final pass. There's quite a bit of schmoo in there. I never looked down the bore before I shot it the first time, so I don't know how dirty it was when it got to me. It's a handgun. It does handgun things just fine. It's an incredibly accurate pistol. Not very powerful, but incredibly accurate. Just better than my 32 autos. Those are very underpowered. 380s, like the bare minimum I would consider using in a handgun. And there you go. Nice, shiny, and clean. Look at all that schmoo. Must have been sitting a while. Your barrel bushing. It's got 408 on it. And it does in fact match the frame. And you can see here's the hammer. It's not a hammerless gun like the name says, it's just a shrouded hammer. And oh, what was that? Oh, that was your slide release, which is on the wrong side of the gun. You can see how that activates. We're getting flipped up. There's no spring biasing this, so that's odd. Very strange. Our recoil spring seems to have a nubbins on the end. Then there's the guide rod. And that came out into this away. Yep. So this has to sit against, yeah. It's actually got a recess in there. It's not just a flat face. So that's pretty cool. I think this is a 350, yeah. So this is actually the right size, 355. That fits in there just fine. We got a bunch of carbon there. Quite a bit of carbon there. And I might as well take the grips off so we can look at the trigger bar. And you definitely want to oil down this whole thing, so the only way to properly do that is taking the grips off. Your long and teeny tiny grip screw. Clean those threads off. Yeah, those are pretty gnarly. Chipped on the inside there, whatever that is. Solid. Isolate. Verstört, Schweden. Interesting. And it's got some damage on the inside. Pretty cool. You can see the oil line all the way around on either side of the grip, but this is basically what the Tokarev fellers stole to make the TT33. Everyone says it's a 1911 that I've talked to. It's like, no, it's a Colt pocket hammerless system. It's just got one big flat spring, powers everything back here, the disconnector, the trigger bar, all that stuff. I'm not taking that apart because it's kind of a pain in the ass. And I think the only thing the Tokarev did was delete the grip safety and made it a packet so that you can just lift the whole thing out the top. This is a little bit more complex. It's got 2 pins. Yeah, I'm not taking that apart. No, thank you. It works. I'm leaving it alone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and oil down the frame. Of course, a little lanyard loop. Tactical as frig. No flashlight, dang it. No stippling because it's a 32 or a 380. It's not a 1911, don't need that extra grippage. Oh wow. It actually looks like forging marks. Dirty. Yeah, this thing probably sat a while before I shot it. It's one thing about gun people I don't understand is they don't really shoot their guns. They just buy it and talk about it for days on end. Schmooey. I'm gonna use some Q-tips to clean this out. I'm gonna soak this bad boy down. Get up at them lugs. Oh Lord, she nasty. She a dirty girl. Get up in there. Oh yeah, she dirty. There's your disco. So if I pull the trigger, I have to have the slide comes and hits the disconnector, and then this actually catches like that. Ta-da. This is dumb. I hate everything about that. I don't know whose idea that was, but they were wrong. It's probably the ordnance department. They suck. And then this thing really doesn't have much of an ejector. I think that's it. You do have a little Swedish crown in there. That's adorable. A matching. I guess that is a packet. Knock those two out and that probably all comes out as a packet. Maybe I was incorrect. This is the same design. Cool. Squish, 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 squish. Clean out them slide rails. And mop up all this nonsense. Get behind the hammer too. Oh yeah, lots of schmoo back there. There we go. That's pretty much it for this guy. If your trigger drags, it's either the magazine is rubbing against the trigger guard, which you can see this really isn't. Otherwise you'd have a wear pattern on your magazine, which I've seen on some old 1911s, the mil-spec kind. They kind of really suck because the magazines were actually made by one person, but these guns are made by like 10. There weren't many 1911 manufacturers making their own magazines. And then the slide, you can see the slide's actually marked back here. Same thing, 408. Right there. There's your disco channel, firing pin. I said firing pin. What are you doing, mister? Why is that so difficult? Damn, dude. Why is it so hard to push the firing pin forward? Alrighty then, that's wild. Don't know why that's a thing. This is where most of your carbon's going to be, is stuck in here. Oh yeah, look at all that. Clean out the pocket for the hammer. Which is the only reason why there's dead space is here. And just swap the rest of the slide. Eesh. She ain't been cleaned in a while. Like I said, I only got maybe 150 rounds for this thing. Take some of that oil and put it on this barrel. The barrel's the only thing that's not matching. 550 on the crown. Now, why isn't this firing pin protruding when I push on it? That is my question. That's very odd. Don't know why that is. See, this is the extractor that fails to extract stuff. I'll just oil that down. It's sprung just fine. There's plenty of spring to it. Not too tight. But it just doesn't do its job. It's kind of anemic. And you knock that pin out, I'm sure that would come out. You see it down in there too. Right down yonder. There you go. Down there. And this is probably your firing pin retaining pin. You can see that right next to the crown. Ta-da. So yeah, that's pretty easy. Get her all schloobed up. So then when we put this back together, we want this barrel locked in like that. We probably put oil up this spring guide and just throw that down in this recess. Put the spring thing on it. Replace our last round hold open. And just try and throw this thing back together. Get back to the takedown notch. Get that back into the disassembly notch and get our barrel bushing. Rotate that round. Get that seated. And then I said and then oh bother. I just had to take it out of the disassembly notch apparently. Rotate that into its lugs. And it's back together. Ta-da! Resets just fine. Cool. This is a pretty heavy sprung gun for a 380. Yeah, I don't know why the firing pin wouldn't go when I was pushing on it, but we know it works. Just wipe off all this excess. The other thing is you'll get finger cheese in these if you got someone with beat up hands or dry hands or something. And now it is preserved for another year. Unless it gets rained on, then you gotta do it immediately. Because I'm sure this thing will flash rust like you wouldn't believe. Because it's only bluing. And our grippy doos. See, there's a little cutout in one of them for the lanyard ring. What would you get in your home? There we go. So this one over here. And throw this screw back in. Ta-da! And there's your very own Husqvarna. Clean and shiny. Thanks for watching.